faster. We're on a time limit here. Okay, what does that mean? You okay? I see that we all sort of made this trip together. I don't know where we are. It looks like we might have landed in the Outlands. I didn't even get to go to the city, and I thought this was gonna be cool. Hold on, something on my back here. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that back for now. I don't know what the deal with that is. Oh, would you look at that? They even digitized my microphone. How nice is that? We can just be digital programs here in the Outlands, but at least I can talk to you about, I guess, Tron this week. I guess we could talk about Tron, because this is a very Tron-esque place. I figured I could go in here and rest, recover. 1 hour in here is basically a minute outside, so I could last longer in here than I could starving to death out there on the space station. It was a better plan when I thought of it out there. This place is spooky. You ever wonder what the story for Tron Lightcycle Run at the Magic Kingdom is? No, just me? Well, today I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to theorize along with you. But in order to explain to you the story of Tron Lightcycle Run in Tomorrowland, I feel like we should probably go back and I can quickly explain the story of Tron and Tron Legacy to you, because they are both very important in the future of the story, and in the story of everyone's favorite 1 minute long roller coaster. Our story begins in 1982 with a young software engineer by the name of Kevin Flynn. After being fired from his job at the technology company Encom, he opens up his very own gaming arcade called Flynn's Arcade. And when Kevin is not gaming with the cool hip people of the time, he's trying to hack into Encom's database, with the help of a program he wrote called Clue, but Clue keeps getting shut down by the Master Control Program, or MCP. It turns out the senior executive vice president at Encom, Ed Dillinger, had been passing off Kevin's games as his own and rising through the ranks of the company. Together, Kevin, his friend Alan Bradley, and Alan's girlfriend Laura Baines in an attempt to download Kevin's newest program called Tron into the system to counter the functions of the MCP. Once inside Encom, the three split up and Kevin finds his way to a terminal and begins to converse with the MCP.
You shouldn't have come back, Flynn.
Hey, it's the big Master Control Program everybody's been talking about.
Sit right there. Make yourself comfortable. Remember the time we used to spend playing chess together?
It then sabotages Kevin with an experimental laser and brings him into the world of the computer, or Encom's gaming grid. The grid. Within the grid, humans who created the programs, the inhabitants of the computer world, are referred to as users. And the programs very often resemble the user who created them, in this case, RAM, an actuarial program, and Tron, the very same security program that Kevin Flynn was trying to use to sabotage Encom. In this case, he looks and sounds exactly like Alan from the outside world because Alan is Tron's user. Over the course of the movies, Kevin is sent to the gaming grid, has to compete in light cycle challenges, disc wars, and after a while, with the help of other friends like Yori and Bit, Tron and Kevin fight their way to the Master Control Program's core. Kevin leaps into the Master Control Program's beam, distracting it, giving Tron an opening to deliver the killing blow. After destroying the MCP, Kevin arrives back in the outside world, and Dillinger's plagiarism is exposed to the whole world. Kevin goes on then to become the new CEO of Encom. However, Kevin's time within the grid had really affected him, and the following year in 1983 he decides to make his very own computer system, which he also calls the grid. And even though the new grid was an entirely different one, Kevin did bring some old programs from the first grid into the new one, specifically Tron. Tron made his way into the new grid because he's one of the main characters. Look at the name of the movie. And to help him with constructing the new grid while Kevin was outside in the real world managing Encom and raising his son Sam, he created a brand new program to stand in his place while he was gone. A newer version of Clue from the first system, also called Clue, or Clue 2.0.
You are Clue. I am Clue.
And Clue's main directive was to create utopia, a perfect world. And every night when Kevin Flynn would sneak away from his family to go into the office, he would actually enter the grid, where hours, days in the digital world would be just mere minutes in the real world. He could spend his time building this new society. And everything was going okay, actually. Everything was going pretty according to plan. Until the ISOs showed up. And it wasn't the ISOs' fault. One day, as if from nowhere, isomorphic algorithms appeared in the grid, or ISOs for short. Now, to call the ISOs artificial intelligence isn't exactly accurate. They weren't programmed by a human. Programs were programmed by humans. They're users. The ISOs appeared out of nowhere. They're a whole new life form. They weren't AI, they were just sentient, sapient people from the digital world. But what Kevin saw as a major discovery that would change the course of human history forever, biodigital jazz, man. True, intelligent, greater than human-like life created digitally without outside input, Clue saw as an imperfection. And remember, his main directive was to create utopia, a perfect world.
You created them?
No.
The ISOs were imperfect, and Kevin and Tron, they were defending the ISOs, so Clue, following his main directive, had to take Kevin and Tron and the ISOs out of the picture. Which leads us to a scene that shows just how badass Tron is, by the way, just an amazing scene. But Clue ambushes Tron and Kevin. Kevin can't make it to the portal to the outside world in time before it closes. It's only openable from the outside, leaving Kevin stranded in his digital world. Tron is supposedly killed or de-rezzed by Clue, and Clue takes control of the second grid. But year after year, while brilliant like his father, Sam would continue to grow more and more distant from those in his life, still wondering where his father had disappeared to all those years ago. And every year on the anniversary of Kevin's disappearance, Sam would prank Encom in some sort of way with some sort of death-defying feat. And in 2010, on the 21st anniversary of Kevin's disappearance, Sam broke into the Encom tower in order to release Encom OS 12, the newest operating system, onto the internet for free to the public. You know, it's just some sort of big middle finger to Encom for making his father disappear. Sam didn't really know the truth. After successfully doing that and escaping the police for a second, Sam is visited by his old friend Alan, who mentions that he just received a page on his old pager from Flynn's arcade. The place had been closed for years. Maybe there was a ghost in the arcade. Something suspicious was going on, though, and Sam went to investigate. Sam would sneak into his dad's old office and be digitized, just like his father all those years before him, and placed into the grid. After being hunted for a short time by a recognizer, Sam is also, like his father before him, entered into the game grid.
Marion complete, disk activated and synchronized. Proceed to games.
Where it's discovered after dueling with the mysterious program known as Rinsler that Sam is indeed from the outside world, a user. After meeting with Clue and escaping the game grid, Sam meets up with his father in his exile, a little camp out there in the wilds of the grid, where Kevin tells Sam that he'd essentially been locked away in the grid for what feels like to him 1,000 years. This man is mentally very, very old. Kevin tells Sam where he's been all those years and about the destruction, the purge of the ISOs, before the group decides to make a mad dash to the portal. Joined by Kevin's mysterious assistant, Cora, the three try to make a break for the portal before being stopped by Clue. Cora is revealed to be the last surviving ISO, and of course Clue, following his directive, won't rest until Cora is dead. Kevin recognizes Rinsler as a reprogrammed Tron, an evil Tron.
Tron, what have you become?
And realizes that the only way to stop Clue would be to reintegrate Clue into himself, essentially absorbing Clue and then dispersing all of that energy back out into the grid, essentially blowing himself up. Tron, in one of the best scenes I've ever seen in a movie, remembers his programming.
I fight for the users.
And with Tron's valiant sacrifice and Kevin Flynn's valiant sacrifice, reintegrating Clue and sacrificing himself, I guess seemingly, because Tron Ares is it's a whole other thing, Sam and Cora escape back into the real world to ride off into the sunrise. That's the end of the movie. As far as we know, there's also the Flynn Lives short, with Sam trying to show the press that Kevin Flynn might still be alive. Flynn lives. Or at least Kevin's ideals might still be alive. And it is then, my friends, when we get to the story, at last, of Tron Lightcycle Run. Now, we all know the real-life story of Tron Lightcycle Run. It is spooky out here. I do not like this. It took Disney a very, very long time to build Lightcycle Run due to many different reasons. An exclusivity clause with Shanghai Disneyland, the COVID-19 pandemic. Eventually, it did open to pretty good, okay, C plus B reviews. It's a very fun coaster. It's a very well-made environment. The music is amazing. The ambiance is fantastic. The coaster itself, though everyone says, is a little bit slow. That's not enough to take me out of it personally. I think that just being in the world of Tron, walking up to the ride, even maybe using the bathrooms that are there, the brand new Tron bathrooms, is part of the appeal, being in the world of Tron. Now that I'm actually here, starting to have some second thoughts about that, but that's not what's important. We're talking about the actual story, the storyline of Tron Lightcycle Run. Not what happened in the real world, but why Sam and Cora and Kevin Flynn all came together to make a roller coaster for users, me and you, to experience. Let's talk about that, because we don't have a lot to go on when it comes to a storyline. The storyline for Tron Lightcycle Run that we have to go off of, to put it bluntly, is minimal, okay? There's not much going on here that Disney gives us to go off of. We can kind of tell when we visit the attraction that there's not really a story being told. They just want to immerse us into the world of Tron and Tron Legacy, and then send us on a roller coaster. It's a good time, and it's my second favorite ride at the Magic Kingdom after the People Mover, but it's not really a masterpiece in storytelling. Environmental storytelling, maybe, but actual story being told to you, it is not that. And I mean, for crying out loud, when you and your friends, your group, your family are being digitized, they don't say you are about to be digitized into the grid. They say you are about to be digitized into the world of Tron.
Prepare to be digitized into the world of Tron.
And yep, that's the whole pre-show. Like I said, second favorite ride at the Magic Kingdom. You move that Hatbox Ghost literally anywhere else in the ride and change out the bride, and then we can talk. Haunted Mansion. Anyway, digitized into the world of Tron. That's essentially like saying you were about to be born into the world of Abraham Lincoln. Like, yeah, Tron lives there and he's pretty important, but I don't know if it's the world of Tron. It's the grid. But that's not to say that there is no story, because there is, my friends, and it canonically takes place after Tron Legacy. After Sam and Cora enter the real world, now it's our turn to experience the world of Tron, because Disney has released on multiple occasions before the attraction's opening a small bit of story. Here on the D23 website, we're told that, quote, the attraction picks up where moviegoers last saw Sam Flynn, son of the computer genius Kevin Flynn, and Cora, the isomorphic algorithm he rescued and brought back with him to the real world. The couple are now creating permanent gateways to promote and support increased interaction between programs and users, also known as humans. This doesn't make a lot of sense for me, personally. I mean, sure, Kevin Flynn's whole plan in Tron Legacy when the ISOs showed up was to use them in order to further humanity. Not the ISOs, not the programs, but to cure disease in the real world. And the ISOs, except for Cora, as far as we know, are all dead. On the Disney Parks blog, we also get a little bit more story. Quote, the story of Tron Lightcycle Run picks up after Tron Legacy, where Kevin's son, Sam Flynn, has opened a second gateway into the grid. The first gateway is found at Shanghai Disneyland with the original Tron Lightcycle Power Run. After being digitized and transported to the grid for a special light cycle race, it's your Team Blue against one of the grid's menacing programs, Team Red, Team Yellow, or Team Orange. And that just talks about how you have to pass through all the gates in order to be declared the winner. Now, Sam, I love you. I think your movie is great. But I'm wondering how entering a team full of users, nearly godlike beings within the grid, into a light cycle tournament against programs is encouraging cooperation between users and programs. I don't know what the end goal is with all of this. This is when we step into speculation because, as I mentioned, that's really the only little bits of official story we get for Tron Lightcycle Run. Sam is trying to familiarize users with programs and programs with users, and to do that, he's created 2 digitization bases, one in Shanghai and one in Orlando. Now I think it's time for us to build on that story with maybe just a little bit of fan theory, a little bit of speculation, because that's why we are here, right? On the Offhand Disney Channel, is for theories. The theories are the best part. My friends, I think not everything is what it seems, because there are some story details, some returning characters in Tron Lightcycle Run that don't really make a ton of sense, considering that the ride is set after the movie. So let's start with the queue. Here we have a single identity disc sitting there for guests to walk past. This isn't just any old identity disc though. This isn't Sam's, this isn't Cora's, this isn't ours. My working theory is that this is Kevin Flynn's disc. Now let's back up really quick here for a second. I thought Kevin Flynn either destroyed or wiped clean the previous Grid 2.0 at the end of Tron Legacy. And yeah, he kind of did. However, it is shown that when Sam returns to the real world at the end of the movie, he backs up the data of that previous grid. So if you have a working digitization machine, you could theoretically get back in. The grid that we visit in Tron Lightcycle Run is actually that backed up version from the end of Tron Legacy. Not the actual Tron Legacy grid, but the sort of recreation, sort of quick save file that Sam makes at the end of the movie. And to allow us to be digitized, as we make our way into the show building for Lightcycle Run, we pass a digitization laser. Now, instead of just digitizing one person like they were used for in the past, the big digitization laser on the outside of Tron Lightcycle Run is used to digitize a bunch of people, the whole group in that pre-show room. The laser's real name is the NCOM SHV20905, or the Shiva 2095. So using refined and bigger versions of technology previously used by him and his father, Sam sends us to the grid in order to help users and programs better understand each other? Maybe. I think there might be something going on behind the scenes. As I mentioned before, the identity disc that we walk past on our way to our light cycles in the queue for the ride is not just your average everyday disc. The disc belongs, in my opinion and my theory, to Kevin Flynn. And as Flynn says in Tron Legacy, his identity disc sort of serves as somewhat of a master key for the grid.
Identify yourself.
I'm taking this vehicle.
You are not authorized. Right away, sir. Watch your step, please, as you board the aircraft.
Kevin Flynn essentially being the god of this digital world, his disc would give you godlike powers. So why, my friends, is it here? Present, seemingly in some sort of terminal, while we're just racing our light cycles with other programs. For fun? To build camaraderie? Something else is happening. Some sort of data is being collected, specifically by Sam and Cora. Here's my thoughts on what the sort of overarching story of Tron Lightcycle Run is, my friends. Sam Flynn wants to continue the legacy of his father, Kevin Flynn. He wants to continue the projects that Kevin had brewing while he was in the grid. And part of that includes building digitization portals, or the upload conduits that we see in Tomorrowland, in Orlando, and in Shanghai, to further acquaint all these users and all these programs with each other in a sort of more positive version of Clue's plan. Clue wanted to get into the real world to sort of take over humanity. Sam wants the programs to come to the real world and the users to go to the grid to see that we can make peaceful coexistence possible. And with the technology that's found within the grid and the ISOs, maybe we could help advance not only human life, but programs as well. It's a very Tomorrowland sort of message, if you think about it. Using technology for the betterment of everyone. That's really, really Tomorrowland. It's sort of a positive spin on Clue's original plan. That is what I think the story for Tron Lightcycle Run is. All of the data that's being collected by Sam and Cora is being used to get further research into how maybe one day users, programs, and ISOs, or ISO, can coexist and be happy with each other. However, if you've seen the trailer for an upcoming film, an upcoming movie, that might not go according to Sam's plan. It may have backfired. just a little bit. Now, if you've seen a certain movie trailer for a certain upcoming Disney live-action motion picture releasing this October, it seems that we may already have an answer as to how Sam Flynn's project ends up working out. And by the looks of things, it's not working out very well. Although, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that I highly doubt that the Imagineers consulted the filmmakers of Tron Ares or vice versa when they were writing the quote-unquote story for the roller coaster or the story for Tron Ares. I think they're going to be very, very disconnected. This is just how I'm trying to connect them in my brain. So through our participation in these sort of mini games in the grid, we somehow make it possible for Ares and this Recognizer and all of these programs to escape out into the real world. And things obviously aren't quite going to plan. Maybe Clue was right all those years ago. Maybe Sam Flynn was mistaken. But things aren't looking too good for the users in Tron Ares. But that movie is not out yet. So I don't know what sort of ties it will have to Legacy. I really do hope they tie in the story of Ares to Legacy pretty deeply. I hope it builds directly on the story for Legacy. Garrett Hedlund and Olivia Wilde return. I mean, we already know Jeff Bridges is coming back, so Kevin Flynn survived. There's something gnawing at me deep down saying that they're not going to tie it into Legacy at all, and they're just sort of using the Tron aesthetic to make it super cool in the real world. These light cycles, you know, cutting cop cars in half. That's awesome. But I really do truly hope that they go back to Tron Legacy and to Tron before it and continue the story that was being told in Legacy. I really hope this is a direct sequel. I'm not exactly the most confident in that though, like I mentioned. But then that also raises more questions. Will Lightcycle Run get an overlay when Tron Ares releases? Will the whole upload conduit be dyed red like Ares' suit? Not orange like Clue's, by the way. Those are different colors. And speaking of orange, let us rewind for just a second back to the story of Lightcycle Run, because things might be a little messed up. The timelines are kind of screwy, kind of crossed, because in the leaderboards for the different teams, you have Team Yellow, Team Red, and Team Orange. And one of the best players on the game grid is on Team Orange, and that player is Rinzler, the corrupted Tron from Tron Legacy. Now, Rinzler, as we all know from that awesome scene I showed you before, is floating through the sea of simulation, reborn once again as Tron. As far as we know, I don't see a reason why he would be corrupted back into Rinzler. So maybe the record that we see for Rinzler in the pre-show for Tron Lightcycle Run is a record from when he was Rinzler, when Clue was in control of the grid, and it's just sort of a leaderboard, not so much of a this is who's currently competing as part of Team Red or Team Orange. It's just sort of like reminding you who has the highest numbers. And I can't find a picture of it. I should have thought about that when I was at Disney World a few weeks ago, but that's fine. Just believe me when I say that Rinzler has by far the best stats of any of the players on any of the teams. But what about you, my friends? What do you think the story of Tron Lightcycle Run is? Do you think it's a mysterious plot to harvest data on users and programs alike, or do you think it's something much more innocuous? Do you think Sam Flynn just wanted to build a roller coaster? And I think all I have to do is this, and that should be my page sent out. So now we just sit here and I guess just await rescue. That's the page being sent out. So now all we have to do is just kind of sit here and wait for Mission Control to notice the page. And knowing how long it took Kevin Flynn's page to be noticed, it might take a while. So buckle in with me, friends. We're gonna be here for 2,000 years. Oh. Well, yeah, no, that would be the page. Wow, that got back a lot quicker than I assumed. That means it was like almost instant in the real world. So I just like, I take this, I just hold it up like this. Oh yeah, no, that's getting bright. Wow, I'm gonna have to put this down. Okay, yo, yeah, that's, ow. Ooh, I should have brought my sunglasses. There's no sun in here, it doesn't make any sense. Oh, it's too bright. Oh, it's too bright.
Surface collision imminent.
Hey there everybody, thank you all so much for watching this video. I sure do hope you enjoyed it. I had a wonderful time making it. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you're new around here and you want more videos like this. Also, keep in mind that you can subscribe to my Patreon, linked in the description down below, for just $1 a month. That's $1 a month and you get early access to videos and exclusive access to other videos. However, if you'd rather just follow me for free on other social media sites, you absolutely can. At Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Blue Sky. I'm on all of those websites at Offhand Disney. It just makes it a little bit easier for you to find me. And now, if you don't mind, I suppose I need to wake up. I need to wake up. Wake up. Oh yeah.